Hello guys and welcome back to KB's Path. Sorry about the kind of delay for the video. I was actually out hiking for a better part of the week with one of my good friends, Stuart. And when I was on that hike, I started thinking and having these realizations about a lot of things. And I kind of came out of that hike, I feel, as a different person with a different mindset a little. So I'll give you kind of a backstory. I've done a lot of hiking, but nothing too serious, right? They were just day trips. And for this one here, I had just met Stuart a couple of weeks ago, but it was an instant connection. And, we were both saying like, hey, that would be awesome to be able to do the Fundy footpath. And here in New Brunswick, this footpath here is notorious. I mean, it is the hardest trail on the east coast here in Canada. And it's about 50 kilometers, like 90-degree hills, You're climbing up route by route by route, and it's up and down, up and down. And we had never really practiced or prepared well enough, I guess, in a sense of going into this. So the night before, we kind of decided, you know what, let's do it. We both want to do it. We both have the opportunity right now. Let's just go ahead and do it. And that's when the adventure started. So we got all of our things ready. We went out. It took us about 5 hours worth of driving just to actually get there, get set up, and we had to have a car at point A and a car at point B. So that way when we get to point A, we drive back to point B and then we go home. So that kind of took a long time. So we actually got started on the trail around 7 p.m. On Monday. And or not Monday, excuse me, on Wednesday. See, my time is all mixed up now. So on Wednesday we started, but we didn't actually start. We just camped at the beginning at the 0 kilometer. We camped there and said, you know what, we'll start the next morning. Yeah, we had both woken up around 6:37 a.m. after walking the 8 kilometers just to the entrance of the trail. And when we woke up, Stuart kind of looked at me and said, man, like, I don't know if I really want to do this anymore. We both have blisters on our foot from the 8K walk, and our propane tank didn't fit our grill. So we couldn't cook any more food. We just had to eat raw. And he was starting to have some doubts, and he didn't really get much sleep. So his energy levels and his thinking was like, you know what, I can't really do this right now. But I looked at him and said, man, we're already here. Screw it, we're doing it. And after that, everything went right for us, right, in a way. So that first day, we ended up doing 25 kilometers out of the 50. And it was pretty intense. I mean, there was some points where we were 3.5 feet in the water, in the Atlantic Ocean, and the tide was rising an inch, every couple minutes, and we had to book it to our destination, which we made, thank God, because 15 more minutes and we would have been swept by the ocean. So we camped at Wolf Point, and when we woke up that next morning, I was the one in Stuart's shoes. So I was the one saying, you know what, man, like, screw this. My head's not in it. Like, I'm at a really low point because, again, at that point, I wasn't eating the foods I was normally eating. And we just weren't getting that much sleep. Just felt really exhausted, huge blisters on my feet, cuts all over my body, and just very tired. But then Stuart came up and said, no, man, we're doing this. Like, we have to finish it. We're literally in the middle of the forest. And there's only 2 ways to go. Go straight into the ocean or go left and keep going left. And that's what we did. We just kept going, kept going. But I found that as we kept going, my mind kept bringing up these negative thoughts and kept being negative and kept saying, you can't do this, or why are you doing this, or just give up already. It was like Mother Nature was testing me, was breaking me down to my lowest point just to rebuild me up again. And I was at my lowest point for about maybe 3 hours until I kicked in, until it finally set in that, I put myself here. I asked to be here and I chose to be here. So what's the sense of being negative? And that's the biggest lesson I learned from this trip, was if you put yourself in a situation, if you deliberately choose a course or a path for yourself, why complain when you're doing it, right? And that was something that I had struggled with pretty much my whole life. Was I would put myself in certain situations and then complain about them after and say, why did I do that? Or why do I have to be here right now? But this weekend it hit me. It finally changed the chemistry in my brain. It finally made me understand that there's really no sense of spreading the negative energy because I have to be there. So we ended up finishing the trail that day. And to give you a perspective, the trail usually takes about 4 to 5 days. And we did the trail in a day and a half. And there's only really one reason why we finished the trail so quickly, was because we, other than a couple of hours, we had the right mindset. We both kept looking at each other and said, man, like, we chose to be here. We got to see it through the end. And we just put our head down. We concentrated on our breathing, and we walked up and down, up and down, up and down, through rivers, through the ocean. All in all, it was one of the craziest experiences of my life. But again, that just shows you that if you put yourself out in Mother Nature, if you deliberately put yourself out to be either hurt or to bring out your true emotions, Mother Nature will bring you down to the lowest point you can, and then will rebuild you. And I feel like a very completely different person since I came out of that trail. I feel so much more relaxed, so much more at peace with myself than I already was, right? And I feel like everything in my head is a lot clearer. So guys, if you've never had the opportunity to go hiking or to just go on some really long walks, I highly suggest you do so. Bring a notepad, bring a book, bring something, and just head into the forest, head onto the streets, and start walking. And I promise you, when you come out of that, you'll have some realizations, as well as some thoughts that weren't there before. And that's just because you're cutting out all the excess crap and you're just focusing on what your mind wants you to focus on while you're walking in nature. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I will be posting another video, I believe tomorrow, on Egypt, on ancient Egypt. And that will be a new series I'll be starting. So again, guys, hope you're having a beautiful day. Wherever you are, namaste.